Will you fucking quit?
No fucking way!
Stop! I got shit to do! Thank you. Oh, you mother...
Why not? Fuck you!
Oh. Who would have ever thought we saw the day Chucky got married and had a little Chucky Jr.? 1998 was a weird place in horror. Jason had went to hell a few years prior. He was kind of phased out. Freddy had to send off from Freddy's Dead, even though Wes Craven did come back to fix that monstrosity of what Freddy Dead was and gave Freddy a better send-off. This being the late 90s, people had to accept the fact that horror was changing. At this time, Scream had came out and totally reinvented horror in the 90s. At the big success at what Scream was, they had already pushed out another successful sequel of Scream 2. So it's only natural that they pivot in direction for this next Child's Play movie. And me and myself, I have a guilty pleasure for this movie. Even though there is some horror elements in this movie, and I don't like comedy and horror movies for most of the time, I feel like this has a really good balance and mixture of them both. 1998's biggest horror movie was Halloween H2O, the Psycho remake, which was totally fucking bomb by the way. The Ring, Blade, Urban Legend, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, and many more. Sure, there wasn't many mega blockbuster horror movies hitting at the time, but throughout this, it would spawn some series for some of these movies, some sequels, and some of these would become cult classics. This would also mark the first time that Andy Barclay would not be involved in the series. Don Mancini would come back to godfather the project, and this was directed by Ronnie Yu, who would later go on to direct Freddy vs. Jason in 2003. But ladies and gentlemen, this is not a movie review. You're here for these kills. So I'm about to rank these kills from my best to my worst. I have dumbed these down to 13 deaths in this movie, because I paired two couples, so, you know. Coming in my number 1, my favorite death in this movie is the hotel couple. You have this couple in a hotel trying to get some and Tiffany the doll just throws that champagne bottle on the mirror on the ceiling, and them glass shards come down and just shred these motherfucker like cheese on the cheese grater. And it was also at this moment where Tiffany sent Chucky way into orbit. He fell in love, proposed to her, and Chucky also got him some Coming in at my number 2 is Officer Bailey's death. Now some of you might think, oh, that's just a slit throat, that ain't nothing special, right? Well, you know what? I fucking like it. This scene in particular being the opening scene of the movie, and you get Tiffany's reveal, which I think the idea of having Jennifer Tilly come in as Tiffany and adding her to this franchise is just genius. Because I had the biggest crush on this blonde back in the day. I mean, how can you not? Look at this. But seeing this new killer in the Child's Play franchise kill this cop, get Chucky's body, and then you get the title drop where fucking Rob Zombie's living dead girl. How fucking badass is that for a fucking title drop in a Child's Play movie? You don't get much better than this, guys. Seriously. Coming in at number 3 is Tiffany's death, the doll version. At this point in the movie, these two have been through hell and back, fighting like a married couple because they are, in their mind. But even the fight scenes of them just beating the fuck out of each other with shovels. Tiffany's all burnt the fuck up like Freddy Krueger in this motherfucker. Even at that, Chucky stabs her. And then you have this great monologue by Tiffany.
Love would set me free.
And then Chucky just says,
Get off my knife!
Really showcasing how cold-hearted Chucky really is at the end of the day. He's not gonna let anybody or anything stand in his way of murdering people. Coming in at number 4 is Officer Norton's death. This is one of the more comical deaths for sure. Chucky sneaking up and putting that rag in the gas tank and setting it on fire. By the time Norton realizes what's going on, he just looks forward and he sees Chucky and Tiffany just and then he blows the fuck up. Classic kill right here. And plus the chaos of everything unfolding afterwards, like the debris going into the fucking phone booth, almost killing other people, innocent bystanders. Really badass scene right here. Coming in at my number 5 is Tiffany's death again, the human version. Tiffany being the fox that she is, just taking a nice relaxing bath, thinking she has the upper hand on Chucky. Wrong. I love the fact that she's watching Bride of Frankenstein as well, and Chucky just comes in there, pushes the fucking TV, she gets electrocuted, and on top of all that, the way they synced her screaming up with the Bride of Frankenstein screaming as well when the TV reveals up, that's just a nice shot right there. Like that's really creative. And then you see Chucky just celebrating with the fucking bubbles and shit. Coming in at my number 6 is Chief Kincaid. You're probably gonna roast me for this one, but it took me the longest time to put one and one together that this was a Hellraiser reference. During the opening scene of the movie, you know you have cameos from Michael and Jason and Freddy. Kincaid's death is pretty fucking brutal. Tiffany luring him into a trap by laughing and cutting up and chuckling, and then Chucky sets that trap off and all them fucking nails go into his face. And again, it took me the longest time to realize what Chucky meant when he said,
"Why does that look so familiar?"
Of course, Hellraiser reference. Coming in at my number 7 is Damian Bialik's death. This is probably my most replayed scene of the movie back in the day. And you should know why. Again, Tiffany being the fox that she is. Every element of the scene mixed together is just out of this world. You have Tiffany tying that motherfucker up to the bed, giving him sexual seduction, and she's instigating Chucky. Because I feel like at this point, Chucky has that little man syndrome, and this is the first time you get to see Chucky be very territorial over his girl. And Tiffany's just going all out. Seduction at its finest, my friends. But at the end of the day, Chucky was not having that shit. He finally decided that he was gonna do the fucking exorcist head turn, tell that motherfucker off like, hey, this is my fucking girl, smother him to death, and then look at Tiffany like, hey baby, it's been a while since I could use my plastic dick. And it's just another great reference to another horror classic like The Exorcist with the head turn, right? And then this scene has the intense music. You got the lightning and the thunder flashing. You got the close-up of Chucky's face and the eyes. Love this fucking scene. Coming in at my number 8. This is where, for me personally, the kills start to gradually go down in quality. My number 8 is David's death. Now, David being a friend of the main couple, of course he didn't believe a single fucking word that they were saying. He thought these motherfuckers was high on drugs, they was off their fucking rocker, lost a few of the marbles. But finally Judgment Day came, and he saw Chucky and Tiffany alive for the first time. And he freaks the fuck out, gets ran over by the fucking semi, and just his body just fucking exploded. Now this totally felt like a Final Destination death. And yes, I am very aware that this came out beforehand. I think this is the last kill in the film that had that oh shit moment. It was quick, it was swift, it was executed well, but I feel like this is the last kill of the film, in my opinion, that holds any substantial value. My number 9 is Lieutenant Preston. Now back in the day, spoilers ahead, I do not like Seed of Chucky. It is my least favorite film of the franchise by far. There are some good elements, there are some very good scenes, but overall as a whole, this is the one I steer away from. I'm saying that because Lieutenant Preston's death, you get to see Tiffany is not exactly dead yet. She stayed alive long enough to give birth to what could have been a scary version of Glenn or Glenda. Because once Glenn came out, he looked scary. Once he attacked Preston, it was a scary ass scene, and it was the greatest way to end this movie on a cliffhanger. Number 10 is the Gravedigger's death. Nothing special here. He got shot in the back, he was down for the count, over with, wasted, terminated, expired, got rid of, offed, ounced, pounced. You take this man out of the movie, it doesn't change. My number 11 and 12 is the closet couple that got killed. You know Tiffany loves her cooking. She's in there, she's in the kitchen doing her thing because she is just obsessed with Martha fucking Stewart. And you get the blink if you miss it reveal of these old dead couple in the closet. There's not much to say about this. This is one of the kills I feel like is not really needed in the movie. It's just to show the audience and give them a little bit of context of another kill in the movie. To showcase Chucky and Tiffany's sadistic ways as a couple. But let's move on. Up until this point in the kill ranking, Chucky's death has almost been my number 1 in every single movie except for one. Love or hate these movies, one thing I always gave props to with these films is that they know how to do a Chucky death. The first 3, phenomenal. However, this one right here is so fucking lackluster. I'm talking about how do you go for number 1 when he gets set on fire, beheaded, shot, he comes back, shot, he comes back, shot, he comes back, finally got shot in the heart, right? Just the Predator sense of that. And then you get the awesome number 2, where Chucky loses his fucking legs, cuts his fucking hand off, uses the fucking blade and sticks it in the side of his fucking hand, gruesomely ties that bitch up and still goes after Andy Barkley. The Predator sense of that is fucking crazy. And then he gets that liquid poured on him and that's still not enough. He is still coming. And then number 3, he just won't fucking stop coming. He gets shredded up by that fucking fan. Chucky's death in this is just bland. And the only thing you get from Brad Dourif's voiceover is,
I always come back!
and then he gets shot to death. I just feel like this point in the franchise, Chucky has been shot quite a bit, okay? How can you be so creative with these deaths, but act like Chucky's death at the very end, the final kill of the film, besides, Lieutenant Preston's, treat it like your second string offense here? I don't understand it. Definitely a letdown. Compared to the first 3, they definitely could have did something better with Chucky here. Hands down, they could have. And they should have. But I don't make these movies. I just watch them. That's going to wrap this video up, guys. Thank you so much for taking part of your day to kick it with me. I appreciate it. Let me know your kill ranking of this movie. Which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? Where does Chucky's death go in your list? Let me know. Drop it down in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this, feel free to check out our Patreon. The link is down below, where we have exclusive content just to Patreon members that would never be on YouTube. We have a Saw series coming up where we rank every Saw trap there is. We're covering the Exorcist TV show, reviewing that every episode of season 1, and a lot more. But until next time, guys, I love you all. Adios.